Most people want success, but the moment it gets hard, they quit. Why? Because society has conditioned us to believe success should be comfortable. That if we hit a wall, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But here's what no one tells you. The path to success is pain. It's pushing when your mind tells you to stop. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. And no one embodies this truth better than David Goggins, a man who transformed himself from an overweight, broken individual into one of the toughest endurance athletes and Navy SEALs in history. David Goggins' story is one of the most extreme transformations of mental and physical toughness ever documented. He grew up in a violent, abusive household, facing relentless racism and poverty. As a child, he struggled with learning disabilities, was bullied, and developed deep insecurities. By his early 20s, he was overweight, nearly 300 pounds, working a dead-end job spraying for cockroaches, and completely miserable with his life. One day, he saw a documentary about Navy SEALs and made a life-changing decision. He was going to become one. Despite being out of shape, unqualified, and barely able to run a mile, to even qualify, he had to lose over 100 pounds in just 3 months. He pushed himself beyond what most people would think is humanly possible, training through extreme pain, exhaustion, and self-doubt. After failing multiple times, he finally became a Navy SEAL. But he didn't stop there. Goggins went on to become an ultramarathon runner, world record holder for most pull-ups in 24 hours, and a motivational powerhouse, all by embracing suffering and proving that the mind is the ultimate weapon. His philosophy? Most people quit at just 40% of their true potential. The key to success is mastering your mind and pushing beyond what you think is possible. His book, Can't Hurt Me, details how he rewired his brain through pain, discipline, and relentless self-mastery, proving that anyone can transform their life if they're willing to suffer for it. So why do most people never reach their full potential? Because they let their own mind betray them. And that brings us to the first brutal truth of success. Most people quit at 40% of their potential. Have you ever felt like you've given it your all, like you're at your absolute limit? Well, according to Goggins, that's a lie. When you think you're done, you've only tapped into about 40% of what you're truly capable of. Your mind is wired for self-preservation, tricking you into quitting the moment discomfort kicks in. But real growth, that happens when you push past that threshold. Take Goggins' first ever 100-mile ultramarathon. He signed up with zero training. By mile 70, his body was breaking down, kidneys failing, feet covered in blood, bones grinding against each other. Any normal person would have quit, but Goggins didn't. He forced himself to keep going, proving that the body follows where the mind leads. He finished that race not because he was ready, but because he refused to quit when his brain told him to. Now ask yourself, how many times have you stopped at 40%? How many times have you backed off because something felt too hard? That's your biggest enemy, your own mind. Hardship is not an excuse. Goggins had every excuse to fail. Born into an abusive household, he suffered relentless bullying, racism, and poverty. As a young man, he was overweight, working a dead-end job, spraying for cockroaches, and drowning in self-hate. He could have stayed there, but he didn't. Because here's the truth. Life doesn't care about your excuses. The world keeps moving whether you push through or stay stuck. Instead of blaming his circumstances, Goggins took radical ownership of his life. He forced himself to change, one brutal step at a time. He lost over 100 pounds in 3 months, studied for hours to pass the Navy SEAL entrance exam, and put himself through hell to become one of the toughest men alive. So the question is, what's stopping you? Is it fear? Is it pain? Is it the voice in your head telling you that you're not enough? Because Goggins' story proves one thing: your limits are a lie. And if you want success, you have to go beyond what your mind tells you is possible. And that's just the beginning. In the next section, we're diving even deeper into the brutal truths most people refuse to accept. Stick with me, because this next one will change how you see failure forever. Truth 1, motivation is weak, discipline is king. Motivation is like a sugar rush. It feels great in the moment, but it disappears just as quickly. And when life hits you with pain, setbacks, and exhaustion, motivation won't save you. Discipline will. Goggins says, you need to fall in love with suffering. Success comes to those who embrace discomfort daily. Most people only push themselves when they feel like it. That's why they stay stuck. Goggins' secret? Callousing the mind. Just like your hands develop calluses from hard labor, your mind gets tougher when you force it to do what sucks every single day. For him, that meant waking up at 4 a.m. to run in freezing temperatures, pushing through exhaustion, and showing up when every cell in his body screamed, quit. He trained himself to ignore feelings and operate on discipline. Because at the end of the day, motivation fades. Pain doesn't care if you're motivated. The real question is, will you do what's necessary even when you don't feel like it? Truth two, most people fear failure, but it's your greatest ally. Most people avoid failure like the plague. They see it as proof that they're not good enough. But here's what no one tells you. Failure is the best teacher you'll ever have. Goggins failed Bud/S training, the Navy SEAL selection process, twice before he finally passed. Twice! Most people would have taken that as a sign to quit. He took it as data. Failure is just feedback. It's proof that you're pushing limits. Every failure exposes your weaknesses. It tells you exactly what you need to work on. The only real failure is refusing to try again. So next time you fail, don't run from it, analyze it, learn from it, then go back stronger. Because every setback is just a setup for a stronger comeback. Truth three, your mind is lying to you. Your brain's default setting is survival. It will always seek comfort, safety, and the easy way out. That's why most people never push beyond their limits. They believe the lies their mind tells them. Goggins proved this when he ran a 135-mile ultramarathon on broken legs. Yes, broken legs. His body should have given out. His mind should have stopped him, but he refused to listen to the voice saying, "You can't go on." Instead, he asked himself, what if I keep going? That's the secret. When your brain tells you you're done, challenge it. Because the truth is, you have way more left in the tank than you think. Truth four, the path to success is lonely. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. No one is coming to save you. If you want success, you have to take it. And the moment you start leveling up, people will doubt you. Some will mock you. Some will even leave you. Keep moving anyway. Goggins learned this the hard way. When he decided to change his life, people told him he was crazy. Friends disappeared, but he realized something. Most people don't want to see you succeed because it reminds them of their own failures. If you want to be great, be prepared to walk alone. But remember this, when you make it, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. So the next time you feel alone on your journey, remember, that's a sign you're on the right path. Truth five, you are your own worst enemy. This one might sting, but you are the only thing standing between you and success. Goggins learned this when he looked in the mirror and faced his brutal truth. He was overweight, depressed, and stuck in a cycle of excuses. No one was stopping him except himself. Instead of blaming his past, his genetics, or his circumstances, he took ownership. He stopped lying to himself and made a choice to change. And that's the final truth. If you don't like where you are, do something about it. No excuses, no waiting for motivation, just action. Knowing the truth about success isn't enough. You have to apply it. Goggins didn't just talk about mental toughness. He lived it every single day. If you want to become unstoppable, here's his formula. 1, callous your mind, do something hard daily. Goggins says you have to build calluses on your mind the same way you build them on your hands. That means deliberately putting yourself through discomfort so you toughen up. Most people avoid pain. They take the easy way out. But if you want to be elite, you have to seek out difficulty. That's why Goggins forces himself to do something hard every day. Taking freezing cold showers, pushing through grueling workouts, having uncomfortable conversations, doing what he hates on purpose. The goal? Train your mind to stop fearing pain. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the stronger you become. Eventually, suffering becomes normal, and when that happens, you become unstoppable. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today that makes you uncomfortable? Whatever it is, do it. 2, the accountability mirror. Face your excuses. Goggins' life changed the day he looked in the mirror and told himself the truth. No sugarcoating, no excuses, just brutal honesty. He was fat, out of shape, and wasting his potential. He could have blamed genetics, his childhood, or bad luck. Instead, he owned it. He wrote his goals on sticky notes and stuck them to the mirror. Every morning, he forced himself to look at them and ask, am I doing what it takes to change? Or am I making excuses again? Most people lie to themselves. They pretend they're trying when they're really just avoiding discomfort. If you want real success, you have to call yourself out. No one is coming to do it for you. So tonight, stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, am I really giving 100%? If not, it's time to level up. 3, stay hard, never let comfort win. The moment you stop pushing is the moment you start dying. Goggins lives by one rule: stay hard. What does that mean? Never let comfort win. When you feel like skipping the gym, go anyway. When your mind says, take it easy, push even harder. When life knocks you down, get up and go again. Goggins doesn't have an off switch. And that's why he's built different. The question is, are you willing to go beyond your limits? Now that you know the brutal truth about success, what are you going to do about it? If Goggins can overcome the impossible, so can you. Thanks for watching.